My mother came down our chimney when I was only a child, and she was trying to pretend to be Santa Claus, but what happened was she got stuck inside of the chimney because it was a very tight brick chimney and it was very dank inside, and she got stuck in the chimney, and then my dad he lit the fire, and it cackled and it crackled, and you couldn't hear her screams because of the fire. It was so large and loud, and 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 she burned to death in that chimney. She she burned to death in the chimney. Post-industrial town. That's where we were living still, but we moved somewhere on the opposite on the northwest side of the town. I remember that because there was a pine tree.
What did you?
Like we just moved away, and I never knew where my mother's ashes were in the chimney. So my started out with my father. He went into this very very deep depression, and in that, I think he found some sort of solace in chimney sweeping, because I think he was looking for my mother's ashes. So that's how I got into the business of chimney sweeping.
Oh.
Remember that my mother, she had blonde hair. She had blonde hair. She had hazel eyes. And that's all I remember about my mother. So I started chimney sweeping for my father, because there was a sort of vague directionlessness. So I started to chimney sweep, and I think I started to feel how my father felt. I felt like I was forever looking for my mother's ashes in those chimneys too. I I remember, you know, in that kind of industrial kind of town, everything's kind of sooty. There's always like this thick this thick strangling kind of fogginess kind of. The streets were always dark, and there were always the orange lamplight, and I remember I just started to collect the bags of ash that I would collect through chimney sweeping, and I would
Cut.
I started to collect them a good amount of ashes in various containers, mostly old oak whiskey barrels, and I would keep them in my apartment, but I never. There was never anything to them. Indistinguishable. There's nobody. Just nobody really in my life. My father died. He died 3 years ago. I think he suffocated in a chimney.